Starcast, the official podcast of the Billingham Stars. Watch and listen for the latest news from the Big Red Machine.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Starcast, your official podcast of the Billingham Town Council Billingham Stars. Back here to talk all things Big Red Machine. One game from last weekend to talk about, a very rare event to talk about in due course. Also a big game to look ahead this coming weekend. We have Carol and we have John O.J. here with us. Evening to you both, how's things?
Evening.
All good.
All good, let's say plenty to talk about. But we do have, before we get into the meat of the events of the last week, delighted to be joined by somebody from the Stars organisation, and no messing around this week. We've gone straight to the top, and we delighted to have the general manager of your Billingham Stars, Allen Flavell, joins us on Starcast. Hi, Alan. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening, and thanks very much for having me.
Pleasure is all ours. Making your podcast debut. Great to have you on board. Obviously, we'll talk about the on-ice stuff in a moment, but talk about yourself. Yeah, obviously, you role as GM, a lot going on, but the kind of something we've seen over the last couple of years is the growth of the off-ice side of things, kind of fans, season ticket holders, sponsors. The off-ice side of the Stars has really grown over the last couple of years.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think obviously we get a lot of families coming to games and what have you now, and although the game of the ice hockey is the key element sort of thing, I think it's important that we try and entertain everybody a little bit more. So we've got a little bit of things going on, like the tennis ball toss and the new team mascot. I think we're going to have various mascots from around the league joining the Billingham Stars mascot for their home games, and I think Billy and the Bears going to travel from time to time. Like I say, it's about putting a package on rather than just a game of ice hockey. I'm hoping to get a few of the figure skaters on, doing a bit of figure skating between periods and things like this as well. So a bit more entertainment for, shall we say, everybody in the crowd, rather than I'm being a bit sexist here, saying rather just the men, but I know there's lots of women into the sport as well. But I guess more for the junior side of things, the younger kids, possibly a little bit more to entertain them as well. But generally, I think over the last 5 years, certainly the season tickets have sort of like been more readily taken up. We've got probably 140, I think, this year, which is probably 30 up on last year, which is a massive boost. I mean, obviously our last few seasons exploits, champions of the league and what have you, has obviously boosted that. And a lot more people, coming and wanting to watch the Billingham Stars in action, which is great.
Yeah. Carol, the general manager, is all yours.
I was just going to go back to the crowd thing, because it's been quite noticeable over the last couple of seasons that the crowd numbers are going up and up and up every week. It used to be that we kind of relied on Whitley Bay turning up for us to get anywhere near a full house, but that isn't really the case anymore. I don't even think Whitley were our biggest game last season. I think it probably was Blackburn. So that must be really pleasing for you, because you've had over 20 years of people coming through the door. It must be really good to see lots of new faces that you kind of get to know everybody every season.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I love visiting all the different rinks and what have you, but obviously there is a few teams in the league that aren't as well supported, shall we say. So you don't get as many travelling fans, but certainly the likes of Blackburn, possibly Hull. I mean, Whitley Bay have always been a great derby game, and they generally bring a lot of supporters. Like I say, of late, with the Warriors not performing as well as they used to, shall we say, they're sort of like contingent has ebbed down a little bit and what have you. But I mean, generally, it's more Billingham fans coming through the door, which is what I want to see. I mean, we cater for away fans as well, but it's Billingham around the, or should I say, fans from the Billingham area and the Teesside area that it's just great to see them wanting to come and watch the Stars play.
Yeah. And picking on that, what Carol said, it seems to be the last couple of years. Obviously, the on ice success helps, but even before that, since we came back from the pause, there's new fans coming every week. We're still reaching new fans, even after all of the time we're kind of pushing the product and advertising and social media and all that. We are still finding new fans, which is obviously good for the business. That there's still new fans out there to bring on board to Billingham Ice Hockey.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. And like I say, it isn't just Ice of the Bear. It's the supporters gang. I mean, Jono and Kay and Fiona, a lot of these people that are doing a lot of work behind the scenes that I think sometimes people don't appreciate. To try and increase the fan base. We invite youth clubs. We invite school groups. We invite, youth clubs and what have you. So, trying to bring the sport to a lot of new faces because, you invite 20, 30 people down to a game. There's a very good chance you're going to get a lot of these people coming back and a lot of them turning into regular fans.
Yeah. Jono, Mr. F is all for you.
Yeah, for me, I was going to ask, what's the biggest thing or biggest change you've seen off ice since you've been in control of the hockey club? I mean, you've been a part of hockey since young Flav was probably a forward. Not many people know that, but obviously you've got more involved with management side. What's the biggest off ice challenge? Not biggest off ice change that you've seen?
I think it's probably managing the players and contracting the players. Just showing up on a Thursday night and seeing who shows up for training and signing the lads up. It's all moved on tenfold since then. Now most of the lads are on some sort of contract with us. Try and cover expenses. A bit of equipment costs. Obviously the shirts and the travel and the registration. But it's all going to be paid for. But that sort of thing is all included in the deal now with our Stars players. At the end of the day, we're a non-profit making organisation, or not for profit making organisation. So nobody's taking anything out of the club from a management side of things, from myself and Terry and Brian and what have you. We do it for the love of the game, and like you say, this is the 25 years this season that the three of us have been doing just the Stars. I mean, we all came through the junior section before that when we had kids playing and what have you. So I think that is probably the biggest challenge. Through the summer months, it used to be a relatively quiet period, but now it's quite probably one of the busiest periods. Just trying to tie everybody down and try and get people sign back up for the following season and trying to put a competitive side together. I mean, we all want to be involved and watch a winning team. And the only way you're going to do that is by signing the right players. And there's obviously some negotiations to do there to get the right people. But that's probably the biggest challenge has been over the last 5 years,
And you say you've been involved for this long time. People obviously will come to the game, see you on the door. Can you give us an idea of what obviously you do at Don's night more than just say hello on the door? So can you give us an idea of what your roles kind of entail at the Stars?
Well, like you say, once we've signed all the players and the coaches, because obviously once we've got the players in place, then we need someone to coach them all. Once we've got that in place, then it's working with Tees Active to establish our training times and our game times, making sure all the ice is booked up, make sure all the buses are booked up for our away travel. Because obviously the weekend he showed up a little bit late. But having said that, most of the time the buses are very prompt and very good and quite competitive and what have you. Organising the equipment, the sticks, the pucks and what have you. Organising the shirts through Rhino, making sure everyone's got the right size, the right number, the names are spelt right, all that sort of thing. And then down to, game day, making sure that you've got the man of the match prizes, biggers, the raffle prizes, Kay, fortunately, the last couple of years is looking after the programs now, which is a big load off my shoulders, sort of thing. But yeah, there's quite a bit goes on. I'm usually down at training at least on a Thursday evening every week, but sometimes on a Wednesday as well, just to touch base with the lads. I'm also an Uber driver. When we get back at 2 o'clock in the morning and Rolly hasn't got to lift up to Whitley Bear, then it's an umpty here that's driving up there to drop him off. And, so yeah, I mean, the role is basically I'm quite prepared to do just about anything and everything, from meeting and greeting the fans as they come in to, tidying everything up once everybody's disappeared, everybody's gone to the pub, and somebody's got to hang around to make sure that everything's been put away, the changing rooms are tidy, and that's basically all my jobs rolled into one.
Yeah. So general manager doesn't quite cover the whole. Yeah, I get it. Over your time involved, what's obviously the last couple of years have been incredibly successful, but what any particular highs of your time in charge of the Billingham Ice Hockey?
It's difficult to say because we've had some great seasons. Obviously, when my son JJ was playing in the net, we cleaned up one season there. When the forum was shut, he had a couple of years up at Whitley Bear where we did very well as well. But we've had some great imports play for us as well. The two Swedish lads, Dennis Bostrom and Daniel. I can't even pronounce his second name, but they're fantastic lads. We've had some great lads. Dennis Bashkatov was always one of my favourites as well, But yeah, we've had some great lads. And Rolly Grithands and Ian Brown that are playing for us now. Great lads. They're easy to get on with. They give you everything they've got every game. And that's all you're looking for, That's all I'm looking for from all the lads. As long as they come with a certain amount of energy, and commitment and effort, that's what you're looking for. And I think that's been the vibe in the dressing room, that everybody wants to give everything and everybody wants to win the games. I mean, Mikey Elder's been a terrific captain for us ever since Spike Winbridge was a legend in his day. But it was going to be, there were big boots to fill, but I've got to be honest, and Mikey's filled them very well. He does a fantastic job in the dressing room, between periods, training, you name it. He says all the right things to all the right players, and he knows just how to, get the best out of the team.
Sounds good. Carol, any more?
Yeah, I was just going to say that Billingham's a hockey town, really. It's the one thing that kind of unites the Billingham populace, as it were. And over the last few years, we've solidified that, bringing in the Buccaneers at the top of the juniors. I was just going to ask about the relationship that we have with the junior club and how productive that's been in bringing players through, especially in recent seasons.
Well, obviously, in years gone by, Brian, Terry, and myself, and another chap, Jerry Griffiths, who unfortunately passed away, we founded the club and we ran everything. We ran the juniors right the way through to the seniors. But then as our kids have propagated right to the top and played for the main team and what have you, obviously the commitment and the effort at the junior end I didn't think was there. So Richie Thornton put a management team together to now run the juniors, and they've since brought on board like a Div 2 side, the Buccaneers. But to be fair, it needed that, shall we say, new blood, new enthusiasm to take it on to the next level. And Richie and his gang have done that. There's more kids at the junior end playing than ever. And the Buccaneers is what we would call a farm team for the Stars. So when we get a little bit short, or if we've got injuries and things like this, then we can call on a few of the Buccaneers to come up and step up to the Stars to help us out. So I think the relationship between the two, shall we say, management teams, it works really well. The coaches talk together, so they know who we're taking and when we're taking them. We try never to, take any more than we need to. Obviously, we don't want to decimate the Buccaneers and make them less competitive. I think you'll find that with any coach, doesn't matter what level they're playing at, they all want to win. You know, of course, that's the main instinct in players and coaches, I guess. We all want to win games. So, but I think generally the relationship between the two sections is working really well. And I mean, ultimately, you know, at some point, you know, and I'm going to walk out the back door. I can't keep doing this forever, sort of thing. And you want people that are knowledgeable and have been within the game to take over at some point, and that's undoubtedly what will happen.
Jono?
Yeah, man's kind of on the opposite side of it, other than bringing players through, and man's the recruitment side. Especially this year, there's been a lot of chatter on the socials, whether you see much of it or whether the lads talk to you about it. But obviously, a lot of fans do get itchy feet when they see other clubs making the signings that they have made, especially at our level. And obviously, we've lost a couple of significant players. How do you respond to those comments where fans say we must bring this person in, or we have to sign a player? Or because obviously players don't grow on trees, and nor does cash for that matter. How do you go about responding to those to keep, for one, the team confident, knowing that they're going to have a confident team up, but obviously keep the fans confident so they keep coming back every week?
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I mean, we had the benefit of Conor McNulty last year that basically a lad from Kilmarnock that wanted to come down and play, and a lot of travelling involved there, and chose not to keep that travelling going this year, and went to stand up at the Edinburgh Capitals, and we had Tommy Spraggan move over to Hull to play in the National League. You know, it would be great to think there was other players out there that you could possibly bring in, but my ethos has always been really to try and play the vast majority of Billingham born and bred players that have come through the junior ranks and what have you. The difficulty is that, you know, not trying to be disrespectful here, but the difficulty is that sometimes we just aren't bringing enough players through at the calibre that we need to sustain our place at the very top of the division. So, I mean, even now we're on the breadline a little bit, and you know, if things don't go right for us, then that is something you've got to be constantly looking at. You know, but like you say, there isn't players falling out of trees and knocking on the door every 5 minutes. Plenty coming from abroad and what have you that want to pay. You know, but we're limited in the amount of imports we can have. But like you say, it's a juggling act financially as well. You know, you can't just keep paying out for players. You know, at the end of the day, my main role, or one of my main roles, is a financial role as well, trying to make the books balance come the end of the year. And I can only do that by the experience I've had over the years, knowing just roughly what sort of money is going to come through the door. And obviously you don't want to overspend so that, you know, by Christmas you ran out of money and, you know, you haven't got a team. So, you know, it's one with the other. You've seen quite a few clubs over the years that have maybe spent more money than they've got coming in, and halfway through the season, you know, they start losing players, or, you know, they've gone pop on you, sort of thing. This has probably been 25 years of the most stable ice hockey club, but, you know, insofar as that's the type of thing I look at all the time. Don't overspend, you know, only spend what you've got coming in. And hey, if we've got the lads come through and, you know, they're all keen enough, then we'll do the job.
Yeah. You want to follow on, Jono?
No, that was pretty much my question answered.
Yeah, I mean, obviously since we mentioned the pause, when we came back, there was that conscious decision that first year back to give the lads, the ones who've come through the juniors and played their first senior hockey, that first year without any imports. I think we finished 6th and made the Final Four weekend, which was a huge thing. And that kind of nucleus has stayed together since 21. Was that 2021? So the last 5 years almost, that nucleus has stayed together. And that kind of proves your point that bringing guys through and having the core of hometown players has done us well. And it's taken maybe 3 or 4 years to get to where we were last year to win the league, and then last year to win pretty much goddamn everything.
Yeah.
So that kind of proves your ethos. And as Jono says, it would be nice to bring in 2 or 3 more players, but what you've done so far, obviously the facts bear out that it works.
Yeah, because you've got to, like I said, you come the following season, you've got to do it all again. You're constantly having to try and find players where we'd be far better off if it's homegrown talent and players that want to play at Billingham. That's been another one of my big sort of like asks of the players. I don't sort of like, expect anybody to do anything that I'm not prepared to do, but at the same token, I expect people to be loyal to Billingham and give us everything, if I'm looking after them. So I'm a big Billingham, stronghold, basically, believer that I want to be born and bred Billingham lads coming through. Yes, we're all going to have a couple of imports and what have you. And yes, we could go out there if we had obs of money and just bring, players in from outside. But is that really a Billingham team, or is it just a team that's going to win? I mean, that's why I think football has lost its way a little bit, because there's just far too much money in the team now or in the game. But hey, that's just my personal opinion. We still need money. I'll just give a mention to our sponsors while we're talking. But Billingham Town Council, fantastic. This is the 5th year in the row. The backed us, but they've backed us because we're Billingham through and through, and we look after Billingham Scout groups and Billingham Youth Clubs and Billingham schools. They want us. It's good for the Billingham area because you talk to anybody up and down the country, and it's like the first thing they associate Billingham with is ice hockey, and it goes back to the Bombers days, as the Billingham Bombers. And now the Billingham Stars, I think, are just as well known. People know them very well. You've got the vets that came on board. Again, it seems crazy to me for a small vet organisation, but possibly it's a lot bigger than I thought. But Clifton Lodge vets have been fantastic now for 3 or 4 seasons again, supporting the lads. A couple of lifelong Billingham fans in amongst the vet squad, of course, but it all helps Hockey Hound, the shop, a few of the lads that play for the Buccaneers and they play through the junior ranks at Billingham here. Again, they help out enormously with the equipment and what have you. And then we've just got a new sponsor on board this year, MHG, sorry, offshore. From over Bishop. He wants a presence on Teesside. He's doing a lot of work in the Teesmouth and Tees area. And it's great to get them on board as well, So all these little sponsors, or quite big sponsors to be fair, all play their part in helping us put the game on at Billingham. Salamander Pumps, Simpson Electrical. There's some smaller, sponsors as well, but it's really well received by us, and without all these sponsors, we couldn't rely just purely on the gate alone. When you've got so much money going out the door in ice time and travelling and referees and equipment, the list is endless. Yeah.
Carol, any more? I've got another one or two, but anything from you?
No, it's I was more interested in hearing about the sponsors, but you've filled that gap lovely. Thank you.
Just last one from me was just to kind of reminisce a little bit last year. As I said before we started recording, we kind of did all right last year, didn't we? Can you ever remember a season, and either as a fan or as being involved or anything like that, where everything just went so right and it was such a successful time?
I don't think so. I think that's probably been the most successful season at Billingham. I mean, we almost made the clean sweep of them all. If we'd have gone down to Coventry and cleaned up there, that would have been the writing on the wall. I mean, it still gives us something to aim for, I guess. But yeah, I mean, without doubt, to win the Northern title and then go down to we won the Cup, we went down to the playoffs and we won the Northern section of the playoffs, and then we won the National section. Yeah. And even the Tyne Tees trophy for the But yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic season, and like you say, everything just came together for us. The lads were tremendous, and I'm still hopeful that we're going to have a good season this year. And I would like to think that we're going to go up there again, and there's a possibility that we might make it 3 in a row. It's going to be a tough challenge, but hey, it wouldn't be fun if it wasn't a challenge. If it was a foregone conclusion, what was the point? So you need a challenge, you need something to aim for, and that's what it's all about for me. The unpredictability of it, and sometimes you get some fantastic games.
And just the last one, you mentioned a challenge and something to aim for. Unbeaten league leaders Blackburn Hawks coming in on Sunday. That's something to aim for, isn't it? And a good crowd, hopefully. and get the lads back on the winning ways.
Exactly. I mean, hey, one slip up down in Telford last weekend, 5-4. It was a tight game. Could have gone either way. We could have pinched it on another night, but yeah, I mean, it's one game, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of teams, losing and trading points this season. So a long way to go. And yes, it would be nice to bounce back this weekend against Blackburn Hawks, and let's see if we can take some points off them, unbeaten so far. So they'll be a little bit, confident coming in, but we'll take some beating on our home ice for sure.
Fantastic. Sounds good. Well, we're really looking forward to the weekend, and appreciate your time tonight, Alan, jumping on the podcast with us. Hopefully it's not a one-time only affair. We'll get you back in later in the season, I'm sure. But thanks for your time tonight and your insight, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Fantastic. No problem. Thank you very much indeed. Thanks for having me.
And there he goes, our general manager, Allen Flavell. And the thing that came out there, I think for yourselves, that's possibly the same, Carol and Jono. Just the passion he's got for ice hockey, but for Billingham as well.
Very much so, and I think we have got lots of newer fans who possibly don't know the extent to which Alan and his fellow directors have been involved for, I think, since 2002 now. And he's dead right about balancing the books, etc., because before Alan came in, there are seasons that we can look at in the past where Billingham, Teesside, whatever we were called at the time, have gone bust because we've overstretched ourselves and gone too far. And the stability and the direction that Alan and Brian and Terry have brought to the club should not be underestimated, because stability in British ice hockey is actually quite rare. There are so many examples that you can point to of clubs that have boom and bust, that do kind of go too far, stretch themselves and go pop. There's far too many examples of that. And I think we will all, when they eventually step away, we will all owe them a huge debt of gratitude, because to have them around and keeping the club not just level and stable, but successful and putting products out year after year that fans want to come and watch. You can't really get past that. We all should be saying thank you. Thank you.
To the three of them, yeah. Jono?
Yeah, absolutely. That I was about to say. I think one of the biggest things that I will take away from that is the moment he said it is he's been running the club for 25 years, and it's never been more stable. And as Carol said, stable and hockey in the same sentence in this country, never mind going in the same sentence. But stable hockey in Billingham never really went in the same sentence either. But yeah, we have a different name from when they first set up. It's probably no fault of their own. They obviously got around a few league rules at the time to be allowed to play in Division 1 at the time. So, or we may have probably kept the same name as when the forum closed for refurb. But yeah, to have that stability, when I'm just thinking about it back now, it kind of makes you proud of the work that they've done. I think that we're still going. We've never had any issues. We've never had any rumours of going, oh, this could be our last season. We've got nothing else to do. Like the money's run out or whatever. We've never had any scares or anything like that. And in that time, the junior talent that they've brought through and yeah, just crazy amount. And it does make you proud to be a Billingham fan. And the homegrown, he was very passionate about it being homegrown as well. And again, another thing not a lot of teams can speak of.
Yeah, no, it was great to see his passion for the sport, but for Billingham, for the club, for the town. I mean, I'm a kind of an adopted Teesside. I'm obviously from further north in the Billingham, but since I've been there 2011 when we came back from the forum, you do almost kind of take it for granted. Oh, Alan's going to put a team together and we'll see in September. It kind of just happens, and as he says, it's getting more and more, maybe it's more and more difficult, more and more involved to do that in the summer, but it kind of happens, and it's happened again this year. Yes, we've got a team, and as General said, maybe his fans wanted another couple of players perhaps, but Alan's got his ethos, and as we said, what they've done since we came back from COVID, it's worked. 2 league titles, almost a Grand Slam. It proved it worked, and the players are coming through, and some have come through and gone on to higher things already. And so it proves that the club's work. And so great to have Alan on. Most people just see him on the door of a game night, but a huge lot more to what he does on and behind the scenes for Billingham Ice Hockey. So thanks to Alan. Hope everybody found that a useful chat. His head will be massive training now, won't it? It'll be huge. But we'll see him down there on Thursday at the rink, and I say we're building up to a game at the weekend. What we'll do is we'll take a quick break. After that, we'll talk about, unfortunately, a game in Telford, as Alan alluded, just went away from us last Saturday, and a look ahead to the visit of the Blackburn Hawks. This is your official podcast of the Billingham Town Council Billingham Stars. We'll be back in a moment. This is Starcast. Welcome back to Starcast, here for your Billingham Town Council Billingham Stars. And thanks again to General Manager, Vice President of Hockey Operations, and whatever name we call him this week, Allen Flavell, for joining us earlier in the show. Last week, your Billingham Stars made their first trip down to Telford for quite a while. And unfortunately, what's those one of the things where the other team scores more goals than we do? Apparently it happens now and again, but
forget about it and move on.
It happened on. Yeah, okay, thanks. Right, that's that then. End of business? No. Telford skated to a 5-4 win in regulation time. Telford's goals from Vladimir Luka with a hat-trick, Hunt and Stanton, the goals for Telford. For your Billingham Stars, Michael Elder, Joe Dowdle, Callum Wilkinson, and Ian Brown just in the last few seconds as Stars pressed for a comeback. So 5-4 the final, 48-39 the shots in favour of Telford. Jono was ringside, Carol was on the webcast, I watched the webcast, turned it off when we were 3-1 down, and then we equalised, so I thought, well, I'm not watching anymore, and that didn't work either, so we all did our bit. Jono, you were in there in person. Do you want to start us off for what happened on Saturday in Telford?
Yeah, tough one to put an actual finger on it. I think the old bus legs got us for a little bit. Not making excuses for the boys. I think it was probably obvious by performance when you were watching it. We didn't really come to life until midway through the second period. 15 minutes of the second period, we didn't really come to life. But I thought we defended okay. And I just think we had a few of the big moments go against us, and we just didn't take our chance in the big moments as well. We had a 5-on-3 that we did absolutely nothing with, which was a big opportunity. There was probably 1 or 2 goals I think Mark would have won back, especially one that just slightly looped over his shoulder. But other than that, I think if we're being honest, Telford are probably slightly good value for the win.
Carol, obviously you watched the webcast. Thanks to Telford for providing the webcast. First of all, thanks for doing that. FOC to the world. If they could have fixed the result as well, but that's a different matter. But yeah, watching on the webcast, how's your viewing experience watching from afar?
Yeah, I kind of have to disagree with Alan slightly. He said it could have gone either way, but I don't think so. I think I'm with Jono. I think Telford were pretty good value for that win. I don't know, we just looked a bit out of sorts. You look back to last season and we lost an away game early doors then, and I saw quite a few parallels just in terms of just not the intensity wasn't there for me. But, yeah, a lot to do with bus legs, and again, not an excuse, but the bus being late won't have helped. I don't know. I'm a bit like John. I'm struggling to put my finger on it. They just didn't. The intensity wasn't there, and they kind of just struggled to be the Stars. We weren't playing our own game. Have to give hats off to Telford's top line, which is superb. Mm-hmm. Vladimir Luka, oh my word! I mean, we all knew what we were coming up against with that guy, but to see it in person, he's magic. And actually, and and actually their second line's not bad either. So they were good value for the win. I'm very, very glad actually that we've got Blackburn at the weekend, because it gives the lads a big focus for training. Got to get back on that horse very quickly, and I don't think there's any better game you could ask for to get back on the horse than the favourites for the league. So yeah, one of those games, like I say, we was it Solihull we lost that early doors last season.
It was, yeah,
and that was quite similar for me. Just felt really flat, and not the Stars. I think that's what I'm getting at. Is it wasn't like watching the Stars. They just didn't look themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I see Luca with Finley Howells, Brody Jesson with assists. Finley Howells had a couple of points. Taylor Stanton with a kind of what turned out to be the game-winning goal at the start of the third as well. We knew he would show up as well. So we kind of flagged it last week in the show. The players to look out for, and they did their business. Obviously the Stars goal scorer Michael Elder scored. Chris Sykes had 3 assists. Joe Dowell scored on the PP. Callum Wilkinson, a nice finish just late in the second. And Ian Brown scores, because that's what Ian Brown does, as we know. So the kind of parts were there, but I think it kind of didn't all fit together as we'd want it to. And like you say, possibly Blackburn's the ideal game to kind of focus the mind to put things right this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, it's the first. It would have been probably the first one everyone looked for when the fixtures came out. When that first Hawks game, and obviously it comes this weekend. It comes after a loss, so it should put some fire in the belly as well. How Hawks respond after having a weekend off as well is another interesting one. Will they come out well rested and come flying out the blocks, or will there be a bit of rust there and take themselves some time to get going? But I fully expect us to come flying out the block and put them under some early pressure. And it'll be, no matter what, it's going to be a great game. Win, lose or draw, it's going to be a great game. I think it's one the fans are going to love. And let's be honest, it's been a battle that the fans only wanted to watch over the last 3-4 years, and it's probably on paper the best one they're going to get yet.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about Blackburn in a minute, but the Tigers game, it kind of only proves what we've said even the early part of this season, how tight it's going to be in the league and how competitive it is from kind of top to bottom. I'm saying top to bottom, top to nearly bottom. I think we are getting one or two teams maybe cut adrift, but we'll see how things turn. But yeah, the league I think is going to be even more so than the last couple of years. A really competitive one, which only goes good for the fans to watch, and maybe not so much for us watching our team, but the product in general is taking another step up. Carol.
Yeah, we've said it a million times before, but the league's only as good as its weakest team, and I think you only have to have a little glance down south at the minute and have a look at some of the cricket scores that are going in down there. They aren't fun. They are not fun to watch. You do not want to watch a 15-0 blowout. I think, was it Romford Buccaneers this weekend? You want a competitive league. It's way more exciting. It's way more fun. You might not like all of the results, but the ride is much more fun. In our league, you've really only got at the minute, I think, Sheffield that are looking a little bit cut adrift. You would argue that Leeds put in an even bigger shock result than we did on Saturday, beating D-side. And those are the results that people want. I'm sure the rest of the league was chuffed when we lost on Saturday, and that's fine. It just adds to the excitement for me. 15-0 blowouts are boring. The longer that we can keep it up, but I'll just ignore the fact that D-side turned around 4-3 into 14-2 on Sunday. But
we're not mentioning that.
We'll come on to that in a minute. But I think it's much more exciting for the fans when we've got teams taking points off each other left, right, and centre. It just is.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about the other results around the league. But for Telford, John, I say it kind of proves their decision to step up, and it only adds to the benefit they're going to get from having a team in Division 1 for the likes of not necessarily prospect Vladimir Luka, because he's not going anywhere kind of up over, but the likes of Taylor Stanton, Finley Howells, Tom Watkins can have an eye on him from his national division team, that are getting good, competitive, a standard of hockey that sets them well for their development.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I mean, this is not their Division 2 roster by any stretch. Even the added Luca halfway through last year, and until that moment, they probably weren't winning Division 2. This is a much different roster. It's not the new kids on the block kind of roster. They're not that young a side either, due to one or two of them being the wrong side of 40. But they've got a much more National League experience than what we do, for example. We've just got a very experienced side in general, but they've got a very experienced National League side with Silverthorne, Luca, Howells, Jessen. I'm also missing, and there's one or two others. And obviously they do have one or two hot prospects. Stanton's walked away with a game winner on Saturday, and he's probably had one of his quietest games that he'll ever have. You didn't notice him until that moment, and they're the things that he'll learn more than he'd learned anything last year. There's those games where he drifts in and out. So he will learn so much. And top one, Tom Watkins is only going to get the reaps of those rewards as he brings them up for the national team in months and years to come. So yeah, they've massively upgraded on the division from last year. Whitley went off and they brought a far superior team in. Let's not beat that. And the top four, they probably can break that top four if everything goes right and they stay injury free in Telford.
Yeah, no, sounds good, and it's going to be exciting to watch them. Maybe not as up close as we were on Saturday, but maybe just watch them from afar for the rest of this season. Anything else on the Saturday game before we look at the results in full for the weekend?
I would just say that Luca needs to be better in a certain situation. Unfortunately, he played the ref, and the ref fell for it, and it did play a big part in the game. Would it have changed the result? Probably not, because we still needed 2 goals with 5 minutes to go. But it's the sort of thing we condemn footballers for. But taking a fall in our game, it's just not right, and referees need to do a lot more to take diving out of our sport.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I shall go and look at the game video just to see what exactly you're talking about later on. Thanks for that. So as I say, well done to Telford. A 5-4 win over your Billingham Stars. We'll see them later in the season. Thanks to NIHL Stats, Joe doing his fantastic work as usual. So we'll go through the results from week 6 of your Division 1 North in the NIHL. So from Saturday, Telford 5, Billingham 4, that's done. Sheffield Sims 3, Hull Jets 6. The one Carol mentioned on Saturday, Leeds Knights 4, D-Side Dragons 3. Owen Dell, Fritz Heinzel, Kurt Baumanis, and Bjarnason with his first goal for Leeds Knights 2. Witkowski, Phillips, and Dickinson. But Dragons beaten in the Castle. I think these Knights 2 still call it the Castle? Or was it the Little Castle? I don't know. Anyway, so that was a big shock. Maybe it wasn't as celebrated as in the B59 postcode area or the BB5 postcode area as our defeat was. But yeah, a big win for the Leeds Knights. And then on Sunday, as Carol suggested, the Knights kind of poked the bear a little bit and felt the full force of the D-Side Dragons. 5-0, 5-2, 4-0 the period scores, 14-2 your final. D-Side over Leeds. Witkowski with 4 and the other import, Colin Cromie, with 5, plus a handful of other single goal scorers. So yeah, so they kind of definitely felt the wrath of the Dragons there. Widnes 3, Solihull 7 on Sunday, and the final game was Nottingham Lions 4, Hull Jets 11. More goals from Alex Rushby, Ethan Daintith for Hull, Rich Hagger had a couple as well, and plenty of other goal scorers shared around for the Jets. So that leaves it in the league. The Hawks, as we said, didn't play last weekend, still 6 from 6, clear on 18 points. The Dragons have 17, the Barons have 16, Telford and Billingham have 12, the Jets have 11, Widnes have 10, Leeds have the last playoff spot currently with 6 points, Nottingham have 3 points, and Sheffield 9 straight defeats. 17 scored, 59 conceded for the Sheffield Scimitars. Anything on the results? Carol, you can take first dibs.
I was shocked by Leeds v Deeside, I'll be honest. Both games for totally different reasons. So I wasn't expecting Deeside to lose to Leeds. That's no disrespect to Leeds. I just genuinely thought that Deeside would have far too much firepower for them. Not the case, and it would appear that Leeds were excellent value for their win. So hats off to them. But you do wonder what goes on between a Saturday and a Sunday for a 4-3 win to Leeds to turn into a 14-2 defeat the following night against the same team. Yes, home and away, I get that bit, but that's quite a difference. So either there's personnel differences that we haven't spotted, or Deeside truly went, I'm not having this. We've just got beat. We're going to kill them. So they've taken out their anger and then some. I just found that I found that a completely weird series this weekend. But you've got to say hats off to Leeds for the result on Saturday, because I don't think anybody really saw that one coming.
No, definitely not. The Knights are up 3-0, and then Leeds, up 3-0. Dragons came back. You were thinking, oh, here we go. But no, held on. Heidi Bjarnason, his first goal stood the game winner. And that was a well-deserved result. The true results for the two games are probably somewhere in between, aren't they? 4-3, 14-2. It's kind of a 7-4 kind of both ways kind of thing. Anyway, Joe, anything from you for the weekend?
Just the same two games. And I was probably going to go down the line of Deeside didn't take Leeds very seriously on the first night and found out very, very quickly. That's the only justification I could get for the two results.
Yeah.
Deeside obviously showed what they could do on the Sunday, but the night before, I think they probably took the foot off the gas a little bit and thought they would probably get away with a 6-3, 6-4 kind of win. But no, they have to do with two standard results, and Mr. Wickhouse, he just keeps scoring, and he's currently on pace for a 92 goal season.
Well, we did kind of poke him a little bit last year about his effort level. So if he is truly showing up this year, then it will be worth watching. Yeah, he's on after the weekend. He's on 18 goals for the season, and added 10 assists as well. So he's doing all right. But yeah, I think you're right, John. I think it can only be that the Dragons weren't ready for Saturday. They thought they could just turn up and win, as they showed on Sunday. If they put that kind of effort in on Saturday, it would have been a different result. So that can only be the reason for it. So we'll see what happens if they keep that effort up for the rest of the season. Because if they do, then the rest of the league, watch out. So that's the results and the tables as things stand. Thanks to Joe Scott for NIHL Stats. Follow him on nihlstats.wordpress.com. All 5 NIHL divisions. You've got kind of a box scores for all 4 regional NIHL divisions as well, for every game that takes place. A statistician's dream. So well worth a watch and a follow on his website and his socials. Fixtures then for next weekend in the League and Cup on Saturday: Hull versus Widnes and Telford versus Leeds. And then on Sunday, League and Cup, Deeside versus Solihull. Billingham Blackburn is a League and Cup match. And League only, Nottingham versus Sheffield is the late game on Sunday. So we'll talk about that. We already mentioned that the Blackburn game. Anything particularly you want to add? We kind of already said it's the perfect game, etc., etc. Carol, anything particularly on what we need to do on Sunday?
Obviously, we've talked about Blackburn being kind of obvious favourites for silverware this season, and kind of the results so far have kind of borne that out. I don't think they've been quite as comfortable as possibly Blackburn were hoping in some respects. However, the roster is stacked. I did actually, John will be quite interested in this. I did actually get around to listening to Dom's interview eventually on 4,000 and counting. And whilst I don't think anybody's suggesting that Blackburn are paying their players' mortgages, they have invested. That's the words from their ownership group. They have invested in that squad. They have spent money. That's not in question. And they want a return. So, which is fair enough. And rightly so, they are kind of installed as favourites to take silverware this season. For that reason, I kind of disagree with Mr. Osman that the pressure is not on them. I think it is. When your ownership group has told you that, well, you need to win things, then you need to win things. And they'll have had this fixture circled in big red pen as soon as the fixtures came out. So they'll want to make a statement. We are in the position that we're in as, we're defending 4 trophies, and we on the back of a narrow defeat. We didn't go unbeaten last season, so it's not as if it's a new thing. But at the same time, Blackburn will see that as a wound, a sign of weakness. So, yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game from the perspective of us bouncing back from a disappointing result, and Blackburn trying to lay a mark for the rest of the season. That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, no, it is going to be a fantastic game, and as Alan said, it's on our home ice. We have to make the ring at the Forum count, and we did that plenty last season. So we have to do that again on Sunday, Jono. Make home ice a telling difference.
Absolutely, we've got the best crowd in the league, without a doubt. Very knowledgeable fan base. They know what they have to do as fans and during the game, and I'm sure Mick and the gang will have that block B going and raring to go come game time. But yeah, as Carl said, this is a game that I think it's must win for the Hawks, because if they do lose, doubts will creep in, especially when it comes to playing us. So I do think it's must win for the Hawks. I know 1 or 2 of their fans have already guaranteed victory. 8 and 9s they're predicting that they'll score and win by. So they are very confident. But this is where I think we can jump on them. I think the team will be very eager to lay down a marker on us, and I think that's where we can hurt them.
No, and we don't need to kind of go through. We've already kind of gone through their team a couple of times already this year. We know they're stacked up front. They've obviously upgraded in net with a view to winning things this year. So we know Harrison's going to play his very best. The defence, they've made changes there, brought in NIHL national players. So they have upgraded kind of all over the ice. So we know the task we're going to face. But as Carl says, we are the defending 4 trophies on our home ice in front of our fans. So it's going to be one of those games we're going to have to make it count. So I'm looking forward to it. I was going to say I'm looking forward to it. I kind of do that with a straight face. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be there on Sunday due to a prior appointment. So I should be following on discreetly in the Time Theatre on my phone, probably breaking all the rules. But anyway, but yeah, if it's the usual 5:30 Sunday face-off at the Forum Ice Arena. Obviously, if you've got your season tickets, you can get in and get sat down early. If you're buying your tickets on the door, doors are open normally about an hour before. Get there in good time. Our friends from Thor's will probably be in the car park. Hopefully, if you're getting there early, you can have an ice cream while you're waiting. But yeah, get yourself down. A big Stars crowd. There will be lots travelling from Blackburn, as I say, in expectation, not just in hope. This year with what they're doing on the ice already. 6 wins from 6, as we said. So 5:30 Sunday. Please do come along, shout loud and proud, and enjoy the game, and we'll see what happens. If there's nothing more to add on Sunday's game coming up, we'll just head to any other business. I know Carol's got something to talk about before we let Carol off the leash, as it were. Jono, are you in usual selling mode on Sunday? Your people
Got me list. Yeah.
hot off the press. I saw
Yep.
something appear on camera. I think that was your shopping list being delivered.
Yeah, I've got my list. So yes. Just want to say another big thank you to all the girls down on the front working on the table. They're absolutely smashing it. Super busy. We've got more merch than we've ever had. There's more new things arriving. I don't 100% know if they're going to. Some of it will make it this Sunday. So I won't spoil that secret. But there may be new stuff. There may be not. But we do have our own loans. The pre-game puck drop, ceremony puck drops, our man of the match, the memberships. Obviously, I just mentioned the merch. And Billy's going to be about doing his thing, doing his dancing. Feel free to go and get your photos taken with him. If you do, please tag him and follow him on Facebook as well, and send your photos through to him. And yeah, just engage with Billy. He's been fantastic, and that's just about it. Yeah, Thor, your membership gets your discount over on Thor's ice creams, which we can't tell you enough how great they are. We tell you 50 times a night. They are fantastic ice creams. So you go and get one, and your membership does get you 50p off that as well. Go and see the girls on the table. They're doing a wonderful job. They're friendly, and just keep buying the merch.
Yeah, no, fantastic job the Supporters Club do. And if you want to do one of your puck drop packages, we had Mr. Thor himself dropping the puck, complete with ice cream cone in hand as well. Who says man can't multitask? Disappointing, as I mentioned last week, that the ice cream didn't make it to the announcers box and stayed on the bench for Alan. But it's another. Not that I'm going to go on about it. Just mention it. Thanks to the Supporters Club for everything they're doing. Carol, it's kind of a follow up from last week when we talked about the Financial Times, and just something that kind of came our way on the Facebook. You just want to kind of have a follow up.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk loads about this because we did cover it in quite some detail last week. But I did want to respond because we did have a comment from a lady called Emily. And thank you for commenting, Emily. We do appreciate all feedback. I just wanted to make sure that you maybe that I didn't explain myself properly on last week's podcast. But we were in no way trying to say that people who read ice hockey romance books are not welcome at ice hockey games. That wasn't my beef with that article whatsoever. I think I even remember saying, I don't mind how people find ice hockey. Some people found it via the Mighty Ducks. Some people find it because it's their local rink and they just happen to be, like myself, I actually was a figure skater before I was ever into ice hockey. People come into the sport through all routes. My particular beef with that article was twofold. There was more than two things, but right at the top were two things. That was the tone of the article, which I found demeaning and insulting to women. They're talking about women pressing their noses up against the plexi so they can ogle the men. That's not acceptable for me. And the second big thing that I found offensive about that article was knowing that the people who'd been asked to contribute had actually been misled quite badly as to the intended outcome of that article. They were actually asked to contribute to an article about women in ice hockey. Mm-hmm. And it seems to me, and it seemed to a lot of the other people that I've seen commenting about this particular article, that the lady that wrote the article had a title or an outcome in mind before she even started, and took whatever she could out of the contributors that fit that agenda. Yeah. Those were my massive beefs for that article. And I'm just going to say to Emily, like here, that if she wants to come and discuss it with me off camera, as it were, or away from the podcast, I'm quite happy to discuss it. But in no way did I want to make anybody feel unwelcome or to make anybody feel belittled by, if you want to read ice hockey romance books, I actually know quite a few people who said to me they read them and they really enjoy them. That's fine. I probably read stuff that other people don't like. I'm not going to tell you what, like. But people do enjoy all sorts of things that, you know, don't appeal to everybody. But please don't let you. I wouldn't want anybody to think that that people who like ice hockey romances are not welcome at games, because that's just really not the case. I just found the whole tone of that article really demeaning to women, and that was my opinion, and it was opinion of quite a lot of people who read it, and I just wanted to explain that.
Yeah, no,
I hope that's okay.
I think one of the biggest bugbears was the title of it. The original, because they've changed the title. The original title was an absolute fabrication of the truth as well.
Yeah.
Ice hockey's been doing very well in this country for a long time now, right way through the Elite League era. So to say that a collection of books or a collection of romance stories save the sport is going to rub a lot of people up the wrong way who've worked so hard in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Us included, as whether it's supporters club people who do on podcasts, we work hard not just to promote our team but the sport in general, because we are right behind the eight ball in terms of the sport in Eastern Europe and America. So we've got to find other ways to do it, and we're not getting paid for it. We are volunteers. So when an article comes along to say that they've saved the sport, it's gonna get a lot of people upset and rub a lot of people up the wrong way.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think that's what we were aiming for. So yeah, it's not a cliche when we say hockey is for everyone. So as Carol says, however you've found the sport, on TV, on film, in books, at the rink, if you've come along to a Billingham Stars game, then you are a Billingham Stars fan, and you are incredibly welcome. And we hope that you do enjoy your time at the Forum Ice Arena. So if Emily's watching and listening, if she takes up that and has a chat with Carol or any of us, we'd be delighted to do so. Thank you for that, Carol. If there's no other business, then we shall draw a veil over this edition of Starcast. Big thank you again to Allen Flavell for jumping on at the start of the show. Hope people enjoyed listening to the man at the top. Everything he does, him and the directors for Billingham Ice Hockey. So thanks to Alan for that. We'll see him at the rink this week. But for now, thanks to Carol for jumping on as always. No, it's not happening, Jono. Thanks to Carol. Thanks to Jono, even if he's a Red Wings fan. Yeah, we'll just not go there. NIHL was last week. We've talked about it, and it's done until April. Even if teams make April, I don't know if we're going to make April or not. But that's another matter. Thanks, Carol and Jono, for their discussions and chatting on all things for your Big Red Machine. Sunday, 5:30, Forum Ice Arena, Billingham Stars versus the Blackburn Hawks in the game of the weekend. Hope you can make it, even if somebody can't. I shall have a word with myself in due course. Thank you for that. But thanks for watching. If you are listening, wherever, watching, downloading, give us a like, give us a follow, give us a share. Anything to help promote the podcast in whatever format you listen and take on board. Thanks for supporting Starcast. We'll see you on Sunday if you're going to the game. But for now, from the Starcast, bye for now.
Thank you for watching and listening to Starcast. Follow us on social media and remember to subscribe and leave a review on your podcast platform.